been talking prayer all month long. It's been beautiful. The science of divine alignment. Prayer, of course, is about connecting with God. You know, we're always one with God. I mean, you got a pulse, you're one with God. You know, if you have electrons spinning, you're one with God on some level. But it's something else to consciously unite. Use this power of the word that we have, the will, the consciousness that we have in prayer. And so today I just want to lift up one verse, book of Hebrews, and Maya Angelou, not just because it's Women's History Month, but Maya Angelou, she's good any day of the year, really, isn't she? Hebrews 12:1, and I'll talk a little bit about chapter 11 that was leading up to this beginning of chapter 12, verse 1. But this one verse says, "Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us." And Maya Angelou put it this way: I've had enough of being pushed and pulled by worry. I have decided to let it go and let life move on. Now, of course, we sang burdens down, right? Burdens down. Part of life is about engaging burdens. This Hebrews 12:1, the version I read said, "Let us throw off everything that hinders." Another translation, which is probably just as accurate, says, "Let us lay aside every weight." Whatever's weighing us down, whatever's holding us back, whatever's entangling us, right? To let it go. But part of life, and so I brought this, not because this is not a crystal, okay? But this is obviously a weight, kettlebell, right? 20 pounds, right? And so I brought it just to represent the burdens of life. You got to carry some burdens as a human being. As a matter of fact, sometimes I think it might be nice what if I could just be just the spiritual me without the, hemorrhoids and whatever else, burdens of being human. What if I could just, lay the burdens down, right? But carrying burdens is a part of being human. Whatever you do, it might not even be a heavy weight. It might be just doing laundry, just dealing with other people. Just at some point, you got to get up. Just getting out of bed, put your feet on the ground, standing up. You got to exert some sort of force in order just to be here. You got to engage the burdens that we're dealing with. You got to clean up. You got to, work with tools. You got to, whatever we're doing. Everyone is dealing with burdens. And so what it is, or if you're working out. So if I'm working out, all right, I'm not going to do too much here. But, yeah, right, yeah. If I'm working out, right, then I'm exerting some pressure on myself, right? But what happens if sooner or later, I'm going to put this down, right? Why? Yeah, right. Now but it's good for you though. This is good for you, right, to do this. It's actually very good for you to do this. And then if you just hold it up like this, that's good for your muscles. It is. But why can't I just stay like this all day? Because even though, yes, doing this, now, here's what it is, watch. If I don't, all right, I'm gonna put it down. Not because I can't hold it, but I'm gonna put it down so I can talk a little bit. I'm gonna pick it back up. If you don't pick one of those up or do the gardening, do the laundry, do the cleanup, get out of bed, whatever the burdens of life, whatever the weights are that we have to lift, if you don't lift it at all, then what happens? Muscles get weak, joints get stressed, right? Skeleton can't hold it up as well, cartilage isn't as strong, if I don't engage it at all. But what happens if I engage it and I never let it go? Muscles get weak, cartilage gets stressed, skeleton can't take it. And as a matter of fact, you see, it's not even just the arm. If I stay like this too long, this is my right arm, but see, my left knee is starting to feel it. It affects the whole body. So if I don't engage the weights, the burdens, the stress, then I'm in trouble. And if I engage it too much, I'm in trouble. So I can't ignore the burdens, the weights of life. I can't avoid them outright. I also can't carry them 24/7. So we're talking about something in between. Now, of course, we know that just being human, oh, I forgot to mention one other thing. Your breathing gets labored also. There's a heaviness in just being human. It's not always a physical weight, is it? I mean, that's part of being human too, but it's not just a physical weight. We have needs, we have insecurities, we have lack of trust, we have worries, we have fears, we have anxiety, we have regrets, unforgiveness, past trauma, responsibilities, all that. If only I didn't have to worry about any of that, right? Now, here's something interesting. The way that the brain works, there's a part of the brain, it's called the somatosensory cortex. Don't worry about that, I just wanted to say that. The somatosensory cortex, right? And what that part of the brain does is it lets the rest of your body know what you're going through at any given time. So physically, you notice how if your feet are cold, your whole body knows that your feet are cold, right? If you stub your toe, your whole body knows that you stubbed your toe. That's what that part of the brain does. Whatever you're going through, it lets the rest of your body know. And that's really for your own sake. If I, put my finger on the stove and burn my finger, my whole body knows that it's burned and I jump away. That's good. That's the part of the brain. Whatever we're going through, our whole body deals with it. But the way this part of the brain works, it doesn't matter if it's a physical weight or if it's an emotional, psychological weight as well. As a matter of fact, our brain really, this part of the brain in particular, can't even tell the difference between, like I said, if I got to hold this like this for 25 minutes, yeah, I'm feeling nervous, my heart is beating faster, my breath is getting shorter, right? Now, if I got to hold fear, worry, anxiety for 25 minutes or 25 years, the brain doesn't know the difference between if it's a physical, actual harm and something psychological. A physical harm, it said, let us lay aside every weight. And I'd love to think that what that means is, yeah, just put it down. Just put the burden down. Just put it down. Just don't worry about nothing, right? But it's never quite that easy. What I think it's saying when it says, let us lay aside every weight is, let us put it where it actually belongs. Feel burdened? Carrying a lot, weighed down, heavy laden, fatigued. That could be physical or non-physical. I'm fatigued. I don't know. I'm just tired. Well, you ain't done nothing. But physically, But our brains have a way of not being able to tell the difference. Now, if you engage too much, like I said, blood flow, all this is affected. If you don't engage enough, your blood flow, everything is affected. It can feel like sometimes, well, if I didn't have to deal with all this, then it'd be good. But again, just like this, man, anybody ever work out? Man, if I didn't have to work out, it'd be so much easier if I didn't have to work out. I'm like, no, I don't know. I think it'd be harder if you never worked out. Everybody's not pumping iron in the gym, but you better go take a walk. You better get some sun. You better get in the air. You better dust. You better step up on a ladder at some point. You better engage it. Oh, it'd be easier if I never had to do anything. No, it's harder to not engage what we have to engage. Oh, well, it'd be easier if I just didn't have any burdens. Do you understand that these are the weights that are strengthening us? I think that's what I'm getting at. These are the weights. So here's one for my new thought, brethren and sistren. Anybody ever thought this? God, dear God, let me win the lottery so I can be generous and I'm going to help all of your people. You thought that, maybe you thought that, and maybe it didn't happen. Why not? What I'm getting at here today is you asking for a shortcut. Now, if you really want to help all of God's people, go help them. And then when you deal with their, what's the word I'm looking for? Dysfunction, what'd you say? Yeah. Burdens, dysfunction, adversity. Now, just go help them. And by the time you finish dealing with them, you're going to be as strong, you're going to be stronger than you would have been and if you had just won the lottery. Where am I here? All right, this is what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The burdens are the weights that help us. Life's burdens actually help our ultimate progress and not hinder it. Developing spiritual strength is about lifting emotional weight. Developing physical strength is about pumping iron, right? Cardio. Developing spiritual strength is about lifting these weights. It said, let me lay aside every weight. It's not just throw it away and forget about it. To lift the weight is to pick it up and put it where it belongs. Now, if you want to get strong, I pick this up, I put it back where it belongs. And I do that 25 times. I put it back where it belongs. That is what is meant by laying aside the weight. Take it from where it is to where it needs to go in order to develop strength. Now, similarly, if I'm dealing with folks, if I'm dealing with myself, whatever the burden is, it's not wise or it's not really effective to just pretend like it's not there. I got to pick it up, I got to engage it, and I got to put it where it belongs. I've been carrying this unforgiveness for 25 years. I got to pick it up, engage it. There is not any way around this. Let's say this is 25 years of unforgiveness. Now, like I said, hold this for 25 years. What happens? Now, all of a sudden, I don't know why my neck hurts. I don't know why my stomach hurts. I don't know why I'm losing sleep. It can't be ignored. I got to pick it up, engage it, and put it where it belongs. So there is a lot that we can get from, so how do we do that, right? Pray more, meditate more, blah, 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 right? On top of that, yes, always. I'm not making light of that. And let's look at this stuff. Certain things in working out. If this can work to build spiritual strength,
I think some of the same things can work to build spiritual strength as well. What am I talking about? First of all, anytime you lifting a weight, now I've just been playing around here, but if you really lifting weight, the first thing they say is you got to have proper form. If you don't have proper form in whatever the exercise you're doing, you're going to injure yourself. You've heard it said before, what do they say? When something's on the ground, they say, bend with your knees, right? Not with your back. Why? Because if I bend with my back like this, right, the physics of it is rough on my back. They say get down and pick it up like this, right? You've heard that before? That's for a physical weight. What does that have to do with spiritual? Carrying a burden. Carry it with proper form. If I carry a burden, but I carry it with pride, that's not proper form. If I'm interacting with people, but I'm interacting with ego, that's not proper form. If I'm working with folks, but I got to put other folks down in order for myself to feel good, that's not proper form. And I could be dealing with them. See, you could work with the weights. And if you lift weights, you know, the weight doesn't even really have to be that heavy if you're using the proper form. Proper form. Here's another one. I said it can't be too heavy. Proper load. There's such a thing as overloading. Now, you saw I can pretty much pick that up. I'm sweating harder than I sweat most Sundays. But what if it was 10 times heavier than that? That's too much for me. Yet, how many of us have allowed ourselves to become overloaded emotionally and physically and psychologically, mentally, spiritually? Still walking around. See, the only difference is in the physical, now if this was 500 pounds, I'd be smart enough to not even try. Or even if I tried, it ain't happening and I'm moving on. But with us, here comes someone else's stuff. Here comes someone else's stuff. Here comes someone else's stuff. Here come my own past. Here come my own worries. Here come my, and to the point where I could become overloaded. Be careful about that. Be careful about this. I had someone, well, it's common. You manage your money good, so let me hold some. Yeah, you're supposed to be, you're one of those people of God, you're all about love, you said you want to help people, you know. Well, all right. Don't get overloaded. Don't have a metaphysical dumbbell collapse on your head thinking, that's one thing they say in the gym, don't be a hero. All right, we're talking about proper form, we're talking about proper load. Here's another one, proper recovery. The most intense weightlifters on the planet still are only spending about 20% of their week actually in the gym, at most. 2 hours a day, that's pretty good. That's competition level. And that's not even 10% of your day. Why? The way that muscles work. Like I said, you can't ignore the weight if you want to get stronger, but you got to put it down at some point too. The way muscles work, physically, metaphysically, the way a physical muscle works, you start lifting, you start working with it, the fibers that make up the muscle begin to tear, they begin to fail. And actually, when you've made them tear and you've made them fail, now you've done something. But what you have to do after this is you gotta let it rest, because when you let it rest, then it grows back stronger. So, and that's then it grows back bigger. It heals itself and it's bigger than it was before. You break it down with the weight and then it heals itself. Can you see how this is applying spiritually, metaphysically? We have to, yes, I got to engage. Yes, I got to help somebody. Yes, I got to be kind to everybody. Yes, I got to love people. The Bible also said Jesus went to a quiet place to pray. The top bodybuilders in the world, if I'm doing 2-3 hours a day, that's 10% of my day actually doing this. The rest is necessary. And when they really get into the performance science, they'll tell you, now, yeah, you got to lift some weight, you got to face some burden, but the next important thing is sleep. Have we given ourselves time to recover? Let me show you how strong I am by holding this up for 30 years. Watch, I never put it down. Look at me. Look at him go. Look at him go. All things in balance, proper recovery. How much time is spent worrying, ogging, as they say, reliving? Every time something happened, I didn't like it. As I'm reliving it, I'm holding it, I'm carrying it, I'm pressing it again and again and again. Now, like I said, it's part of life. I have found in my lifetime, it's probably good to push a little weight. It's good. You probably should lose some sleep once or twice in your life. Because it's those moments when you lose sleep, now that's what really gets me praying. It's those moments when I'm at my wit's end, that's what makes it, okay, everybody leave me alone, let me go meditate, let me just sit with God, let me just get this together. It's in the recovery time. I said proper form, proper load, proper recovery. I said they will tell you, yes, if you want to bodybuild, you got to lift weights. The next important thing is sleep. What's the third most important thing? You already know. Diet. Proper diet to build your strength. Now, the word, take it from a, cheeseburger loving brother like myself. We're talking metaphysics. You know that the word diet, like diem, it means, what does it mean? Your diet is your daily consumption. It's turned into this whole thing with Madison Avenue where I'm on a diet, which means I'm on a specified, I can't have carbs, I can't have bananas, whatever that is. But the word diet in itself is your daily consumption. Yes, of food, but of everything. See, the mouth is only one hole. I'm going to let y'all figure this out. But consumption, what goes in? Ears, all the rest, right? This is your diet. And you could lift all the weights in the world. I heard someone say, the weights you lift will dictate how you look in your clothes, but your diet will dictate whether you can fit in them or not. What's the daily interaction? And then most important, what's the daily self-talk? You are what you eat. You become what we consume. And the beauty of it is we have a choice to decide, So yeah, it's one thing. Okay, yeah, pray more, meditate more, breathe more, right? Breathe mindfully. Yes, all of that. Absolutely, yes. What else? Proper inspiration. These bodybuilders, they got mirrors on the wall everywhere for a reason. Because they can progress their growth. They got posters of Arnold Schwarzenegger on the wall, life size, for a reason. To maintain inspiration. What's the inspiration here? Let us lay aside every weight and the sin that so easily entangles. Let us run the race set before us. Hebrews 12:1, it said, therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses. The great cloud of witnesses, that's the inspiration. In the book of Hebrews, what they were talking about, he listed it. This is Hebrews 12:1. All of Hebrews chapter 11, he's listing. Remember what David did. Remember what Moses did. Remember Daniel in the lion's den. Remember Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the furnace. Remember when Joshua, the sun stood still and Joshua fought the war. Remember, and they're running through the whole thing. Remember when Abraham said he would receive as many children would be like stars in the sky? And they list all of that. That is inspiration. And so bodybuilders have inspiration, and the writer of Hebrews gave inspiration. What is in order to build up these spiritual muscles? What is your inspiration? We've been through so much. Sometimes you go through stuff and you get over, and God really shows up, quote unquote. I know that's not a metaphysical, that's a two statement to say God shows up. You know what I mean? And then 5 years later, I forget the miracle. Now, if a bodybuilder, who could be intelligent, maybe, but if they're smart enough to keep that poster of Arnold on the wall, to keep that trophy on the wall, especially a second place trophy, because now I'm looking at the second place trophy like, no, not next year. What is your inspiration? What have the ancestors? I got a kid graduating from high school, heading to college, and I'm worried. My grandmother washed clothes for white people and sent 3 kids to college. That's inspiration. Times are different. Times are different. Watch that self-talk. Watch that diet. I'm not so sure times are worse now for me than for my grandmother, 40s, 50s, 60s. I'm not so sure. What is your inspiration? Since we're surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, you know the ancestors are with you. You know the angels are with you. I can get into the unicorns, all that. No, they're with you. They're here. The powers are here. The fact is, of what we're trying to accomplish and the weights that we have to lift metaphysically, psychologically, financially, emotionally, health-wise, we have more help at our disposal than we realize or that we choose to take advantage of. That's what inspiration is for, to keep you mindful, to keep your eye on the prize. It said, let us lay aside every weight and whatever is entangling me. Most of the time, what's entangling me is my own understanding of what's happening more than what's happening. Now, I love all y'all. If I hear one more person tell me Donald Trump ruined their year, he ain't thinking about you. And guess what? Even if he woke up and said, I'm gonna ruin your day, don't you know that greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world? Don't you know if God be for you? Let me fix that. Since God be for you, that's more than the whole world against you. Now I'm surrounded with a diet of complainers. So, but I'm on a mission. Now, if I'm on a physical mission, hey, let's go to McDonald's. What I look like. Especially I mess around, see some results, see that first little muscle pop out. Now I got a little inspiration. Similarly, don't let anybody take you off your track. Since you're surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, since you have overcome, since you are an American with the history, pedigree, and descent from whence you came, this is the best we've ever had it. And God is still God on top of that, even if it wasn't good times. Watch that inspiration. Now the training, here's the other thing. The training is never just for the sake of training. They're not lifting weights just to be lifting weights. I'm gonna tell a story, Eric, this ain't a bad one. He was walking down, we're walking down to 73rd Street, and he tripped. And I said, oh, shit. No, he tripped. He did a somersault and just popped back up on his feet. I couldn't believe it. And really, he almost couldn't believe it either. But then he said, well, I guess it's good I was doing all that yoga. True story. He wasn't doing yoga just to do yoga. He was doing yoga to deal with life when it comes. That's for any kind of training. We're not just doing this just for our health. This is going to have some functionality. This is going to come through. This strengthens the immune system. This strengthens the heart. This strengthens the mind. Because when I didn't think I could do 25 of them, and I went 22, 23, 24, and when I made it to 25, now I know what I'm capable of. We're not doing that just to do it. It's training. They call it training. Training is getting ready to do something else. And so all this spiritual training, I'm not just sitting in church just to sit in church. This is training to lift the emotional weights, the mental weights, the psychological weights that all lie ahead. Only problem is, training ain't fun. It can be, yeah, you can get into it. But no matter how much you get into it, see, now then what happens is, if you get into it and you say, man, I'm having fun, I'm loving this, what does the trainer do? Put some more weight on it. That's not an overload, but hey, if this is too easy for you, come on and do 10 of these. Or if you can do 10 of them, come on and do 20 of these. Or if you can do this, put 2 of them in your hand and do it. But that's life. That's life. So I want to train because I want to be ready. I want to be able, and knowing that more is coming. Don't you know life could throw more at you than you could handle? What's bigger? What's greater? What's more ferocious? You and yourself, or all of life? The strength that we are here to develop. Prayer is like weights in this sense. Strength is a beautiful thing, right? It's good to be strong. It's good to be able to lift it up. It's good to be able to carry your own luggage. It's good to, right, all that. It's good to fall and be able to jump, pop right back up. That's real good. But the weight itself, weight is a burden before it eases a burden. So when you get to the point where, okay, now I can lift it, it's good, and now I'm strong enough to have my burdens eased, but before that, the first day, the weight itself is a burden before it's able to ease the burden. How do you ease the burden? Not by putting it down and walking away. I don't go to the gym. That same spirit is, so there's some folks physically who say that, well, I don't work out. I don't go to the gym. I don't do nothing. And can you see that that's a metaphysical, that's a spiritual spirit too? I don't face what's here. Bible said, lay it down. Just leave it alone. Didn't say leave it alone. It said, lay it aside. Lay it aside means you are putting it somewhere where it belongs. Because where it is right now, it's a hindrance, it's an encumbrance. But let's lay aside every weight. Let's lay aside whatever is so easily entangling us. So it doesn't say avoid what entangles you. Because guess what? You can't avoid it. You're already entangled. Me too. Look at a situation. You ever done this? Look at the situation. And I know, now if I really got serious and prayed, I could probably change this situation. But don't nobody feel like working that hard. That's true in the weight room. That's true in this weight room of life. The other thing is, you don't have to go looking for weights. The weight gonna find you. Back to the weight room. How many of us did this? Now, I have this because I bought it. It doesn't look like it's been through much, though, does it? Matter of fact, I pulled the tag. I bought it about a year ago. I just pulled the tag off this morning to bring it. Full disclosure. Because I saw it, and then I saw somebody really going to work on the kettlebell. I said, yeah, I need a kettlebell. You ever done this? Then I saw someone, an ab roller. I saw someone with an ab roller, and they were going to work. I went and got me an ab roller. Then I saw someone jump roping like this. I went and got me a jump rope. Then I saw someone running on the treadmill. They said they could run a marathon every day on the treadmill. I went and got me a treadmill. Treadmill's a coat rack. Rest of this stuff is collecting dust. And then I said, I know what I need to do. I'm going to go to Big Five. I'm going to give me a whole bench press, because then if you ain't working with what you got, what good does it do to go find something else when you can't push up what God gave you? Since we're surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside, put in its proper place, every weight and the sin, which just means anytime I miss the mark, that's all that means. The mark is I am. The mark is goodness. The mark is purity. The mark is perfect love. The mark is perfect wisdom, discernment, speaking right. And part of being human, I missed the mark. But when I miss the mark, let me put that in its proper place also. And run the race set before me. The more I engage the training, the better I'm going to do when it's time to run the race. There is a race marked out for each of us to be run. Course in Miracles says, you're going to run the race. Some people run a marathon, 4 hours, 5 hours. Some people, 12 hours. Some people longer than that. They just keep it open symbolically. Everybody goes away, but they know they keep it open because the last person takes a day and a half to get it done. But they get it done. And then some people quit before the finish line too. But now they got to live with that. That's a whole nother weight they carry. I'd rather just crawl across the finish line in 48 hours than to let it go, if I can help it. Everything in life happens. It's okay. Clearly, what are these things that we can not just let go of? Because we talk about that. You got to let it go, let it go. I'm not saying let it go. I'm saying pick it up and put it where it belongs, as long as it takes to do it with the proper form, because once it's done, it's done. And then life has a way of repeating itself. But if I got myself strong enough that I could put this where it belongs, when it comes again, year after next, guess what? We ain't got no problem. So we're here to let go. We're here to lighten up. We're here to run that race with perseverance. In just a moment of prayer for each of us, the weights, the vicissitudes, the trials, the things that seem insurmountable. You ever seen that? It's like a 10-foot wall with a rope and you got to climb over it. I can't do that. We keep working it. It says to run the race with perseverance, to continue. Failure got to be a part of all of this. I just told you, literally, muscles grow by failure. And then may that same physical lesson take metaphysical flight in our minds and hearts. We can run the race set before us, knowing we have truly already won the greatest prize there is. It's just for us to run it well, run it to completion. Amen. Ashe.